Hi, and welcome to What's the Buzz, the Attleboro Council on Aging's talk show. I'm Courtney, and today I'm here with Kerri, Victoria from GATRA. Kerri, how are you?
Hi, Courtney. I'm good. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for joining us. GATRA is an amazing partner to the Attleboro Council on Aging. Can you tell us a little bit about your role with GATRA?
My role at GATRA is Community Engagement Coordinator. GATRA is in 30 communities in southeastern Massachusetts. I provide education and outreach and support within all 30 of those communities. I'm based out of the Taunton Terminal office. Our administration office is based there, but I do travel to all 30 of our communities.
You have provided some educational opportunities to our Council on Aging, and you also do a Zoom meeting. Can you tell us about the Zoom meetings that GATRA hosts? Yeah,
GATRA hosts quarterly regional public meetings. It's based out of our Taunton office. Our director host the meeting via Zoom to 5 other satellite locations within our communities. I attend the meeting at the Attleboro COA, so I come and see you quarterly, and I meet with community members that come in. I set up the TV, I set up the Zoom, so they have an opportunity to listen to all GATRA updates, plans for the future. We answer questions that were asked from the previous meeting, as well as we provide every person an opportunity to ask a question direct to the director, so they have a chance to voice their concerns and give us feedback.
And at the Attleboro Council on Aging, we tend to have like 5 to 10 people that come, and we're always looking to have more people attend those, and that's posted in our newsletter. And then also, I believe at the bus stops, you post those as well?
Yes, we do. We advertise it on our Facebook page also, Instagram, and then it's always updated on our website. If they were to go to gatra.org, they could scroll to the bottom, and all our news posts are right there.
We did an amazing travel training for the older adults at the Council on Aging. Can you tell us a little bit about the fixed route training that you provided for us?
Absolutely. You and I had spoke about setting up this opportunity for the group. So it was first advertised within the newsletter with the date and the time. Pre-registration was required. So the day of, I was there about 45 minutes before I planned us to jump on our first bus. We had a small group gathering. We all sat around a table. I made up a flyer with information all about GATRA fixed route bus and what I wanted them to know that day before we traveled. So I felt very comfortable before we went outside in that freezing cold weather. It was very cold.
It was.
So we took you, I know you came along with us, which was great. So we took the group, we crossed the street from the Senior Center, and we waited for the Route 10 bus that was leaving the Attleboro Transit Center just down the street. So I stepped off the curb just a little and gave the driver a big old wave. The bus pulled over and we got on. We traveled throughout the Route 10 all the way to the North Hub. We got off at the North Hub. I was able to educate the riders on how to stop the bus, what to look for, check it with the times, as well as when we got to the North Hub, if anybody was unsure on how to step off the bus, you could ask the driver to lower the lift. So we did that. I think it was icy and snowy that day too. But then we went into the North Hub. We maybe had 15 minutes. I showed them the signs that are posted there at the North Hub. There were 2 other buses there, so I was able to explain how to read the header on the bus, ask the drivers for questions, if they have any before they get on the bus. But we got back on the bus. We traveled back on the Route 10 right to the Senior Center, and they were able to pull the yellow cord to alert the driver that we needed to get off. Again, we used the lift to make it safer for them to step onto the sidewalk with the ice that was there. And then we went inside, had a chance to regroup. I had a chance to get everybody's contact information so I could follow up with them, answer any questions, and everybody was awarded one of these buses to travel with for coming with us. That was the first time I had done a group travel event or adventure like that, so it was a lot of fun. I think it was a great day.
I felt like it was such a success because I myself don't utilize the bus system, and I felt like a lot of the people that attended left that saying, I think I'm going to try the bus.
Absolutely. And I followed up with them just a few days later over the phone. So a few I left a message and they reached back out to me, and a few I spoke to and wanted information on how their grandkids would take the bus from Attleboro High School to where they needed to go, or maybe to get home. So I've had a chance to reach out to all of them. One particular lady said she wanted to take an adventure into Taunton to try to go to a medical appointment. So I planned it all out for her, and I told her when she's ready to take the trip that I will give her that encouragement and confidence to go out and do that. And I told her I'd even meet her at the Taunton bus station to make sure she gets on the right one out of Taunton. So it was a great day. Like, I felt so good that I was able to provide education. As cold as it was, it didn't damper anything, and the people in the group were amazing. I can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely. I would love to have you back and do another training. Can you tell us a little bit about Dial-A-Ride?
So Dial-A-Ride is a service offered within all our 30 communities, but here in Attleboro, we do have it here in Attleboro, as well as all 30 of our communities, but it is open to anybody who's 60 years of age or older, or any person with a disability. It is a curb-to-curb service. They would book it 14 days in advance, or at least by the day before, by 5 o'clock. They can book using an app. They can book by calling our dispatch. Our dispatch is in Taunton. The Dial-A-Ride service, the buses, it's a smaller van. They seat 8 to 10 people, and up to 1 to 2 wheelchairs. All our vehicles in all of our communities are ADA accessible. But the Dial-A-Ride vans do have a lift. So anybody that needs to use that lift to get on board, they can do that, whether it's wheelchair, walker, cane, or they just need to feel a little more comfortable doing that versus taking the stairs. The Dial-A-Ride fare is $1.75 in one direction. Somebody can purchase a 10-ride pass for $15. They can also book their pass electronically in what we call the wallet. They could talk to their Dial-A-Ride dispatcher. They can also purchase it through the app. So there's a lot of different ways with new technology, or the old-fashioned way of just calling and talking to someone at dispatch. But Dial-A-Ride is an amazing service. They can travel anywhere within the city lines of Attleboro, North Attleboro, Plainville, and Norton. And that would be Monday through Friday. The hours are 6 to 6:30 p.m., 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then on the weekends, it's only Attleboro, North Attleboro, and Norton, and it's 7:45 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Wow, so that gives people a lot of opportunity to get out, get what they need to do done, and
absolutely. And it's to travel anywhere. It's not just for medical appointments. It could be to visit a friend, go to the YMCA, go get lunch. Another great thing with Dial-A-Ride and all our services is they can travel with a personal care attendant, which we call a PCA. So if they needed somebody to assist them some way while they're traveling, they can bring a PCA with them. GATRA does not provide that, but they can bring somebody with them that could assist them, whether it's carrying their groceries or any way they may need assistance. And the PCA can travel at no fare.
Wow. Okay. Do you have to tell in advance that you're having a PCA?
Yes. Yeah, you need to let us know in advance because we need to make sure we have a seat on the bus.
Sure.
As well as you could take a companion. So say I was going to travel and you wanted to come with me. You could travel with me. I can make the reservation for 2. But then we would each pay a fare just because you're traveling as my companion versus as my PCA. So it's always important to let the dispatcher know how many people are traveling and what role that person is going to be, whether it's a companion or a PCA. And another important thing about Dial-A-Ride is it is based on availability. And it's public transportation, so we try to educate people to have some flexibility with their times. I know that a lot of people take the service if they're going to a specific appointment time. So I like to work with them and educate them on how to book it. You want to book by when you want to arrive by. So you want to plan 15 minutes maybe before your appointment time. And then when you're done, you don't always know when you're going to be done at the doctor or the hairdresser. Then you can always book for a will call, and we would just pick a time, but we would at least know that in the will call queue on our computer system that you could call and be ready earlier or later than those times. So we try to have that flexibility for our riders, as well as we ask our riders to have that flexibility with us. It is a shared ride, so you may pick up or drop somebody off to or from your destination.
Yes, that's something that we explore often with our folks, trying to like nail down the perfect arrival and pickup time, and there does have to be flexibility. Now, are there any guidelines as to for the drivers, like when they arrive somewhere, how long do they have to stay and wait for someone?
So our drivers are given, well, I should say, let me just rewind a little. Our riders are given a pickup window time when they book Dial-A-Ride. So, for example, they're going to be picked up at 10 o'clock. They need to be ready between 9:45 and 10:15. So it's a 30-minute pickup window, 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after that time that they're given.
Yep.
So our drivers can show up earlier than that pickup time of 10. And they will wait 5 minutes. So it's very important that somebody is ready in that 15-minute window. So for example, if the driver gets there at 9:50, it's not the 10 o'clock pickup, they're early, but they will only wait until 9:55. And that keeps us on schedule, keeps us, for the other riders for the remainder of the day. So they're always given that pickup window. Of course, there could be traffic, there could be construction, weather. So we book it that way to have that flexibility to keep our drivers on schedule for the day. So it's very important that our riders know to be available during that pickup window. Now, to assist with that, we do have a notification system. So they can,
really? Okay.
Yeah, they can get a phone call or they could get a text message, whatever their preference is. So we will, when they book the Dial-A-Ride, they will get a notification that says you have scheduled your ride, for such and such a day at a certain time. But then the day of, they get that notification again an hour before, and then they get the notification again 2 minutes before the driver arrives.
Wow.
So we ask that they be ready to know that it could be a little bit earlier and it could be a little bit later, but we do the best we can to communicate that so that our riders are ready so they can get out there in time. But the drivers will wait, but they will only wait that 5 minutes.
Sure. Do you find, is that an optional thing for people to request that? Or is it automatic?
It is automatic, but the system will default to a phone call.
Okay.
But so it's really a preference. So some people still have a landline, some only have a cell phone.
Yeah.
Some people prefer the message versus reading it via text. So it's important when they book Dial-A-Ride to let us know what their preference is, or it would default to a phone call.
Okay, that's great to know. I never knew that detail about the ride pickup. Now, I noticed you have your electric bus.
I do.
Do you happen to know, I've seen an electric bus driving around Attleboro. Do you know how many are in the Attleboro area?
Typically, the electric buses, they are a replica of this stress ball, or I call it a squishy bus. They typically run only in Taunton, and mainly because there's a lot of bridges here in Attleboro that they wouldn't clear underneath the bridges. But I have seen it on our Route 10. So I think it just is based on scheduling, maintenance, rotation. But if you're going to see it at all in Attleboro, you'll see it on the Route 10.
Okay.
But mostly it's in Taunton.
Yep. Now, where could someone find the different routes? Like, how could someone access information to be able to plan their trip?
If our biggest resource is our website. Now, if somebody doesn't have access to the internet, they can reach out to me, and we do have printed schedules. We do leave printed schedules at the Attleboro Transit Center, which is right downtown. We do have them also at Town Hall. They are available at the Council on Aging in Attleboro, and I can always mail them or send them out. But the best resource, if someone has access to the internet with their cell phone or a computer, would be go to our website, which is www.gatra.org. And at the very top of the page, there is a link for routes and schedules. They can click that, and there'll be a list by area, by territory. So they can just look for the town or their community. Specifically in Attleboro, we have the Route 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, and 18 are our routes here. The 18 is the one that goes to Taunton, and the other routes are all within Attleboro, North Attleboro, Plainville. They do touch into Norton. They go into South Attleboro and even into Pawtucket.
Wow.
So any of those routes will be available online, they can see, or I can send printed schedules. We also have a new transit app, and that's real-time bus information.
Oh, wow.
So you can use that. You can go into the app, and it will know, because if you give your phone permission to know the location, it'll know where you're at. And then when you open the transit app, it'll specifically tell you what buses are around you.
Wow.
And what time they're going to be at the North Hub, at the ATC. So you can go onto that map, and you can see the live buses moving on the map. It's really a great resource. So
Absolutely.
we have some new technology that's out there, but
Yeah.
for people who are not as familiar or it makes them nervous, they can call us. We can send them printed schedules. They can get the printed schedules on the website as well. There is a downloadable PDF.
Yep.
So there's a lot of different options to find the schedule that way.
Wow, that's amazing. Kerri, what's the process for someone who is over the age of 60 or has a disability?
If somebody was over the age of 60 and they wanted to apply for Dial-A-Ride, there's a one-page application. They do have to provide age verification. So whether it's sending us a copy of their photo ID, meeting with me in person, meeting with somebody at the COA that can check their ID. But we do need age verification. It's a one-page application, but we can also take all that information over the phone. So they don't necessarily have to fill out that one page. But based on age alone, they would be eligible for Dial-A-Ride. If they are a person with a disability, no matter what their age range may be, there is a longer application that has to be completed. It's an 8-page application. The first half is completed by the rider, and the second half is completed by a medical professional. Anybody in the medical field that is familiar with what their circumstances are. So they complete this form. It would be for our ADA paratransit service. They would complete that 8-page form, get it back to us, and we would review their eligibility. Now, they may be eligible for ADA service. They may also be eligible for Dial-A-Ride. We use the same vans for the two services, but they are different services. ADA paratransit is a service available within 3/4 of a mile of our fixed route buses. So the area may be a bit limited, so we have to look at a lot of different factors. But it's a 8-page application that is reviewed on a one-on-one basis. So every person's circumstances are reviewed by one of our administrators. And then they're notified by mail of their eligibility. So they may be eligible for one or both of the services. But once we have that in our system, it is good for 5 years.
Wow.
Even for Dial-A-Ride, once they're eligible, it's for 5 years, but we do require recertification every 5 years. And that way it just keeps our data updated, and we know who our riders are, and that if circumstances could change. Somebody's disability, whatever the circumstances may be, they could change. So we just want to make sure we have updated information so we can provide the best service to our community members.
That makes sense. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Kerri.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, we absolutely enjoy working with you and the partnership that we have with GATRA. And the Attleboro Council on Aging does sell Dial-A-Ride and 31-day passes at our Council on Aging office. And thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Courtney. Thanks for having me here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.